Good morning. It's like 7:30. Um, just getting my day started. Feeling a little bit better again today. Uh, COVID has finally managed to breach its way into my house. My mother is sick as a dog, tested positive. And my brother tested positive today. So, with almost certainty, me and my father will end up getting it at some point. It's just kind of how it goes. You expose people before you have symptoms, and then everybody eventually ends up with it. So that's fun. I mean, we made it 2 years. I've kind of felt rough for a few days, so for all I know, maybe that's why I felt like shit. I just don't have a lot of the worst stuff. But if I do end up with it, then it's too hard to do these walks. Then that'll probably be why I take a break. So I'll need some motivation to get going again when that happens, if it happens. I'm gonna try my best to keep going without stopping, though. But yeah, that's kind of just where I'm at with everything. Just worried. Hopefully everybody gets through it alright, no complications. It's kind of a great morning for one of these walks. It's super fucking foggy. No sun to be seen, but it's bright enough to where I can see really well. But yeah, in general, things are okay today. I still don't really have anything to talk about. Didn't do any more Dragonflight testing, even though I probably should. Kind of just hoping that a few more friends will end up with beta access and make it more interesting. I also kind of want to see what kind of balance passes come this week. With it being Tuesday, I'm sure a new build will get pushed. I did see that there's some data mined potential spells for druids and paladins coming. I believe druids might be getting the mushrooms back, which I always thought was neat, so I'm not mad about that. The paladins look like they're getting the Reckoning PvP talent baked into the tree, which I think has the potential to really do big things for Rhett. As far as DPS throughput goes. So I'll be excited to see how that plays out. In general, everything with Dragonflight so far seems pretty cool. So I'm not super mad about it. Yeah, I mean, everything looks cool. I haven't really done many quests or got the experience with Dragonflight yet. Or just flying, dragon riding. I think maybe today I'll see if Robin wants to get far enough to unlock that and then fuck around and fly for a bit. Just have some fun with it. I hear it's in the first zone, so it shouldn't take too many quests. I always hate testing the quests and stuff on the beta clients because I always kind of feel like it kind of ruins my first playthrough experience. I do generally like just explore the world and I like to just find stuff that's worth like farming for professions and stuff. Like back in Legion, I found a pack of wolves that had like outlandishly bad hyper spawns out in the oh fuck. I keep wanting to say Storm Peaks, but that's not what it is. The zone with Trial of Valor and Maw of Souls, I'm drawing a blank right now. The Viking zone, basically. Or the Norse, whatever. But yeah, I found these hyper spawning wolves. And as my demon hunter in Legion, because it was the first class I leveled then because I was so excited for it. I used to be a Night Elf main on Warcraft 3, and Illidan was basically my or the Demon Hunter was my favorite hero to play with. Plus, with all the custom Warcraft 3 game types where you gotta play with the Demon Hunter hero like Dota and stuff like that. It was just something I was always excited and hoping they would add, because who doesn't like Warglaives? Now, I mean, obviously, like I said the other day, as far as tanks go, Demon Hunter's like my second favorite. It's probably my second favorite class overall. Like, when it comes to my Death Knight, it's like it doesn't matter what class I'm playing, I genuinely enjoy myself. I think Demon Hunter is probably the only other class I can probably say that about. Well, maybe Warrior. I will always prefer Arms over Fury. Just because I don't know. As cool as Titan's Grip is, I feel like I just like the Arms playstyle more personally. Fury's just kind of spammy. But I mean, that's personal preference. I love Prot Warrior. It's third on my list. Although currently for Dragonflight it's 1. But that's just because of the outlandish damage and self-sustain and just everything about it right now. Yeah, it's just, I hope they don't nerf it too much, because it'd be fun to have it as one of my alts. I've been talking about getting into arenas a lot more in Dragonflight, because I really like the new Glad mount. And what's worse is, while I was on the beta looking at it, I saw that it's also flagged for dragon riding. So it's like a double-edged fuck. Now I really want it. The first one's red, which I'm not mad about. It gives me a opportunity to have time. If I had to guess, one of them will eventually be blue, and I'm probably gonna sell my soul to whatever fucking demon or deity I can to get it. But that's, you know, when the time comes, I'll figure that out. I feel like it's a little bit harder to breathe today. Could just be in my head, but could also be that I have more symptoms than I'm aware of. I guess I'll probably know tomorrow. If that's the case, anyway. It's kind of a good thing I didn't start going to the gym already, because I would have been pissed off if I had to skip part of the time I pay for it just because of COVID. So there's that. But yeah, I'm super excited for the new profession system. Just professions being useful again. I think it's something that really matters a lot for the game. I would actually really fucking love if Blizzard would do something similar to what Final Fantasy does with the professions of so, like, for an example, I'm just going to, like, what I remember ish from the last expansion. Shadowbringers, not Endwalker. I think the gear started at like 440 or 460 or something at the beginning of that expansion. But I know the best stuff at the end was like 535. But the cool thing about Final Fantasy professions were you could get this crafted gear for any job because you don't have multiple characters to switch classes. You just switch what job you are and level it individually and then gear it. So what you could do was, at the end, every patch there was like a new version of the crafted set, but specifically at the end, the point in which I remember the best was the crafted gear was 510, which, like I said, 25 levels below the like best raid stuff you could get, or trial stuff, whatever you want to call it. So 25 levels below, but with their currency that you got from doing, your dailies and stuff, they basically have badges of justice and badges of valor from the Wrath and Cataclysm system, and I think BC did too. But you were able to upgrade that crafted gear to 520 just by doing your dailies and stuff. And then, yeah, you're still 15 item levels behind, but you could fully gear a new job extremely quickly. And honestly, the 510 gear was pretty much enough if you aren't min-maxing or whatever. But the fact that you could get so close to where, they were without, spending hours and hours and hours grinding dungeons just to try and get a set of gear to even be able to move into Mythic Plus, you were just able to go to the auction house and get a decent starter set, which I feel like is the biggest fallback on WoW right now, is the barrier to entry to a new character. The reality is, once you're capable of doing the dungeons, it's extremely easy to get gear. But the starting point kind of sucks. So, like, what I would love to see them do is have, like, the crafted gear be, I don't know, make it start like 5 item levels below the normal gear, but allow it to be upgradable with like just a random miscellaneous currency. to be like 5 levels below heroic gear. So you could start a new character and switch without it being an absolute nightmare. And obviously, if you put in the effort to keep your characters geared from the beginning to the end, it's a lot easier, but that's also a lot bigger time commitment. I think in Dragonflight, I'm going to try my best to keep 2 or 3 going, just so I'm not hyper-focused on one and get bored and have nothing to do, and then despise every second of trying to gear up an alt. And I probably, from a PvP perspective, want to get back to, having a PvP specific character, because choosing between PvE gear and PvP gear in the vault kinda isn't fun at all. So that's kinda where I'm at with that. Just try and play through stuff. I feel like I might want to maybe see if the people in the guild might be interested in like a PvP night, just for like RBGs and stuff. I know a couple people are interested in like elite sets and stuff, and RBGs are really easy. Place to grind like raiding and stuff. You just kind of have to have brain cells. The big issue with that is I don't really want to lead RBGs, because it's like a lot. I used to do it back in CAT and I hated it. So I don't really want to do that. So it'd be kind of nice if we could find somebody, or if one of my friends that does RBGs might be interested in grouping up and shot calling for us. I might talk to Zach if people seem interested in it. But yeah. It'd just be nice to do something else. I just, I've always wanted a glad mount, and I've come close so many times, but with all the positive stuff I'm trying to do in my life, I feel like giving that one more good attempt is just something else I can try and work towards. And maybe I'll end up taking Robin along for the ride. I feel like if we can make it past a certain point, we'd probably be okay. He just doesn't have a lot of the knowledge that most people have. He doesn't really know when to do stuff. And I don't do the best job of talking anymore because I'm too focused on myself. And making sure I do what I need to do to try and micromanage him while I'm playing. Back in WoD I was that good, but to be fair, I used to 2v1 with a Holy Paladin, and I didn't really need anybody else, so I could just tell him to do what he needed to do, or stun or CC something, and I was gonna win with my Paladin. But those days are pretty far gone. I still don't really know what healer I want to pick back up for Dragonflight, because I feel like grinding rating is a lot easier if you're a healer than as a DPS with less contacts. You get into groups more. My Paladin has all my achievements, but I don't know if Paladin's gonna be good or worth playing. You know, I've been at the Glad range so many times before the new system came out that it makes me sick. I wish it was always in, because I'd have like fucking 8 mounts. But it is what it is. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I always talk about playing with Robin, but I always kind of expect too much from him. And then we disagree about stuff. But he's inherently good. He just lacks knowledge in the PvP side of things. So maybe that's something to talk about. But, yeah. I think that's about it for me today. My lungs aren't super happy. I don't know if it's an asthma flare-up or if I am getting sick. But this is the worst I've felt since I started this after a walk. So I will talk to you guys later.